We would appreciate you doing that. We always begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then if you remain standing, we'll have a brief moment of silence. So, Commissioner Kennedy, would you lead us in the pledge today?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you all very much. Let's establish our quorum with a roll call. Vanessa, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Sinata?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Butler?
Here. We do have a quorum. And as we do at each public meeting, we will set aside time, both in just a few moments, as well as prior to adjournment, for public comment that anyone might have. You're welcome to speak both times. If you prefer, you can speak one of the two times, or if you're just here to listen, you're not obligated to speak. So whatever your preference would be. The one thing we would ask that your comments be related to county government matters, and if you could try to limit your time to about 5 minutes or so, out of respect for everybody's schedule, we would appreciate if you could do that as well. We also, at each meeting, and by the way, did everybody get an agenda? Everybody, I hope, has an agenda. We always set aside time for our row officers, our elected row officers, if any of them wish to attend the meeting, and we set aside time for them to comment. Today, our county controller, Mr. Prestipine, is here on another matter, but anything over and above that, David? Nope. Okay, thank you. Speaking of county controllers, we're very honored to have our former county controller, Dave Gettings, with us. Good morning and welcome, Dave.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. With that, I will open the floor for any comments that you might have. If you do have a comment, be kind enough to state your name so we can have that as part of the record for the minutes. But are there any public comments at this time? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Dave Alders. I live in Mahoning Township. I represent the workers here at the courthouse. I just wanted to bring it. I don't know if this is the correct venue to do it. I've tried several times. I've sent 2 separate letters for 3 classifications to be put before the salary board for a pay increase. One is a judicial aides. They currently start at $14.60 an hour. We just recently had a judicial aide with 42 years. She just left for a higher paying job. So I just wanted to bring that here before the commissioners, and I appreciate it. If I'm out of line saying this today, that's fine. I'm kind of running out of options.
You're certainly not out of line. Your question is very appropriate. What I should note is that your question relative to the salary board, and the salary board by state law, it's stipulated that the salary board consists of the 3 commissioners and the elected county controller. But the salary board is limited to the process of either creating or eliminating positions of employment, or establishing the rates of pay for non-union and management positions only. The means by which rates of pay are established for the union employees, as you well know, is through the collective bargaining process. Now, my suggestion would be, and I'll give my colleagues a chance to comment as well, or Mr. Prestipine, since he's our controller. My suggestion would be that the request would need to come to the commissioners, but it would be more appropriate to come from the particular department head or elected official in which that office is located. You mentioned judicial aides. Mm-hmm. So I guess a request for us to consider something like that in terms of adjusting the existing contract that's in place. If it's judicial aides, that would, I believe, have to come from the president judge, mm-hmm. since those folks report to him. But it would not be something the salary board can legally do, since again, they're limited. And Mr. Prestipine, not to put you on the spot, I hope I stated that correctly based on your understanding.
You're correct.
Mr. Sonata, anything over and above that? Mr. Kennedy? I hope that helps you, Mr.
Yeah, it
Alders.
does. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
I'm also glad you're here because, as you probably know, later in the meeting, we're going to be ratifying the, so
Right.
you're welcome to stay. I hope you
Okay.
can.
Yeah, I'll stay.
Thank you, sir,
Yep.
very much. Other questions or comments at this time? Hearing none. We'll move on. Once again, we'll open it up for public comment before we adjourn the meeting. Thank you again, Mr. Alders.
You're welcome, sir.
Under fiscal and contractual, we do have one repository property that has been submitted to us. A repository property is a parcel that can either be occupied by a structure or a dwelling or a vacant piece of property that has gone through the delinquent tax sale process. Each year, we send out property tax statements, and if someone is delinquent, those properties are then referred to the Tax Claim Bureau. And by state law, we then go through a process of two different sales that are held. One being what's known as the upset sale. And then if the parcel is not sold at the upset sale, it then goes to the free and clear sale. If the parcel is not sold at those two sales, it then is referred back to the tax claim office and put on the list known as a repository list. That list is available in the tax claim office for anybody to look at any time. And it's broken down by municipality. Anyone can come in and make a bid on those, any or all of those parcels. And periodically that does happen. One of the stipulations is the minimum bid has to be $500. When the bid is made, notices are sent out to the three taxing bodies, the city, borough, or township in which the property is located, the school district, and then the county. During that 60-day period, those three boards have the opportunity to either accept the bid or reject the bid. In order for the bid to ultimately be accepted, all three taxing bodies must either vote to accept it, or if they don't vote within the 60-day period, the bid is deemed approved. But if one of the three taxing bodies does not accept the bid is then rejected overall. Bless you. So today, we have before us, and Vanessa, what number would this be?
43.
This is proposed resolution 43. A bid has been made by Mr. Robert DeBuono for a parcel in the city of Newcastle at South Jefferson Street, parcel number 080411700. Mr. DeBuono made a bid of $526.26 for this parcel. On the 8th of February, Newcastle City Council voted to accept this bid. And during that 60-day period, we did not receive a response from the Newcastle Area School District. Let me stop there for just a minute. And as I noted, because we didn't hear from them during that time frame, it is deemed approved. I did have the opportunity to talk with a couple of officials at the school district, and they indicated that there have been a couple of times where they have missed the opportunity to vote in that timely manner. They also said there have been times when they've mailed the responses in, but they committed to us that they will be hand carrying their responses to us. In fact, just this morning, I checked with the tax claim office, and they did receive some yesterday from the Newcastle Area School District. So they have been trying their best to stay on top of these requests, sometimes by virtue of when the meeting dates fall, because one of the things that they try to do, and quite frankly, we try to do the same thing. We try to wait to see what the local municipality does first, whether it's a city, borough, or township, because they're the closest to these properties and they know the most about these properties. So I do anticipate, based on our discussion with the folks at the school district, that we'll see more of these coming back from them. And no one has purposely dropped the ball here. I do want to make that clear. The school district has certainly made a good faith effort to act on these when they've been able to. But we have before us this proposed bid, which, as I mentioned, Vanessa noted, would be Resolution 43, which is the bid by Mr. DeBuono for that parcel. The acreage is .127. Gentlemen, it would be the opportunity for us now to take a vote on this. In order to do so, though, I would need a motion.
I move we accept the bid.
Second.
Thank you both. Mr. Kennedy, any questions or concerns? Thank you. Mr. Sanada? Okay, thank you. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carried.
Thank you. The next thing we're going to undertake is very new, I'm anxious to see how this works. We're going to have a bid opening. And for those of you who have a sealed bid opening, for those of you who have been to our meetings in the past, when we advertise for bids, state law dictates that the trigger for us to advertise for bids is when the threshold, I think, is something 23,000 somewhere, less than 24, but more than 23, I think. And that number changes each year based on the rate of inflation. That's not our rule, it's the state's rule. But in the past, we've received physical sealed bids that Mr. Prestipine has come in and uses a letter opener. I don't want to steal Dave's thunder because he came across this. Would you mind coming up and explaining what we're doing today and how it came about, if you don't mind? Because again, this is thanks to Mr. Prestipine. We're using a new process, and I think you'll be intrigued by it. I want to thank Dave for coming across this. Do you mind giving us the
No, that's fine. Yeah, we're using a company called PenBid, and they supply a software to government, well, more than government, but they said we have purchased, I shouldn't even say purchased it, it's free of charge. The service they provide to governments free of charge. And basically it's online bidding. All the vendors submit everything online. It's completely sealed until I release it right now. And it's just a way to get more vendors to bid on projects because there's more access than just, because right, the criteria is before was just to put an ad in the paper. If you didn't see the newspaper, you didn't know about it. This goes on here, any of these vendors at any time, and they check them quite regularly from what I understand, can see bids in the area that they would like to bid on, rather than just seeing the ad in the newspaper. We're required to put the ad in the newspaper, which we did, but this is just a way to reach more vendors to give them a little more competition for services.
Is it my understanding, Dave, that the successful bidder, and they know this going in, they pay a small fee to
Yes.
cover the cost of this?
Yes, correct.
So as Mr. Prestipine noted, this is not costing the county any money. The company makes its money from the successful bidder, who knows that if they get the award, the bid awarded to them, that a small portion goes to the company. And what we're opening bids for, and Mr. Miller, Alan Miller from our planning department is with us today. Alan, thank you. We did a bid for the annual maintenance of our county parks, which include West Park in Union Township, Stavish Bike Trail in Union and Mahoning Townships, and the Quaker Falls Park in Mahoning Township. I hope I have that.
And the boat launches.
And the boat launches, which are scattered throughout the county. So, David, is this able to tell you, oh, forgive me, anything else we need to know about that?
No.
Okay. And it's an annual thing that we do. Thank you. David, is this able to tell you, I'm sure it is, how many bids we received?
Yes, we've received 2.
And I assume that they were received in a timely manner because there is a deadline.
Yes, yeah, the date, this time and date is right on here. There is a deadline. In fact, the system will not let them submit it past the deadline. We put the deadline in there when the project started. And if they try to go in there past that deadline, they will not be able to submit a successful bid.
Would, maybe before you open them, let me see if my colleagues have any questions. Mr. Sanada, anything for Dave?
Dave, do we know who the bidders are, or we won't know that?
So yes, I have right here. Beyond Corp LLC and Piatt's Landscaping LLC.
Okay, thank you.
What we don't know is the amount.
Right.
Yeah.
We do know who the
Yes,
bidders
we,
are.
that's, as they submit them.
Yeah.
You can go in there and check and see who submitted bids, just can't see what they submitted.
Okay, thank you.
And that was true in the old-fashioned way, because usually the envelopes had a return address on them. Anything else, Chris?
No.
Mr. Kennedy?
Do we know if they're Orange County businesses?
At this point, no, I'm guessing when I open this, it'll have an address, but as of right now, it just has their name. Again, this is the first time I've ever opened this because I couldn't practice because they couldn't be open until now, so I'm not sure exactly
Well,
the whole process here at the moment, so I can get into it.
we'll cross our fingers, but it's in capable hands.
Right, let's see what happens.
All right, if there are no other questions, we'll let Mr. Prestifine proceed.
Okay, I do have directions here, so we'll see what happens here. First one here is Beyond Corp. It looks like Beyond Corp base bid pricing is $76,670. Hyatt Landscaping is the other one. Their base bid is $70,620.
My recollection is that Hyatt is located on the West Pittsburgh Road in Taylor Township. Does that sound right to you, Alan? How about Beyond? Do they give a address, Dave?
I don't see one on there. There may be a way to do that, but I don't see it at the moment. I'm not wasting too much time here. I can probably figure out a way to do that next time.
That's fine. I'm sure you can find it out.
Yeah.
Traditionally, when we open bids like this, more often than not, unless it's an emergency, and Mr. Gettings would remember this, we usually table the bid to allow the controller's office to look at them very carefully in consultation with the appropriate department. In this case, it'd be the planning department. So unless you gentlemen want to move today, I would hope you'd be willing to wait a week and be willing to table these to give these offices that opportunity.
I'll make a motion to table the bids for a week.
Thank you. Is there a second? I'll second. Thank you, Chris. Before we vote though, do either of you have any other questions? Chris, anything else?
Yeah, Dave, maybe we dealt with these two companies before.
I believe so. I know Hyatt's Landscaping we have dealt with before. Beyond Corp does sound familiar to me too, so I think.
Okay, yeah, I think, given that we
Our
do
department,
the research. and
Mr. Miller?
yeah, our department has dealt with them. They're actually the company that gave us the property for one of our boat launches on the Mahoning River.
That's Beyond, right?
Yes, they're from the,
Oh, okay, good.
So Mahoning Township.
yes.
And then Hyatt's we've dealt with. So we've dealt with both?
Yeah, Pius we've contracted with before.
Okay. Anything else, Chris?
No, that's good. So they're both reputable, good companies, and Dave will take your judgment on the research. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Kennedy?
I'm good at both Orange County businesses, so.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to table these bids, and then perhaps either next week or within a short period of time, we'll hear back from you. We'll do a roll call on the motion to table.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Dave, thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm glad that went well. And Alan, thank you as well. Appreciate it. Next on the agenda, I will note that the commissioners did not meet last week. We were attending our spring conference of the County Commissioners Association in Dauphin County. And some things do tend to back up when you don't meet every week, one of which are the listing of the warrant registers, which we look at every week. These are documents that are put together by the controller's office. It's an itemized list of the bills that have been paid. And we have 5 of them in our packet. And if anybody wishes to see them, we will share them with you. But they are dated February 26, February 28, February 29, March 6, and March 9. And I'll give my colleagues whatever time they need to look them over. And then whenever you're ready, gentlemen, I could take a motion for us to accept these documents. I know the controller's office puts a lot of time and effort into pulling these together.
I'll make a motion to accept the warrant registry.
I'll second that motion.
Gentlemen, thank you both. Do either of you have any questions regarding the warrant registers? Thank you both. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. Next on the agenda, we have the minutes of the February 27 Commissioners meeting. And once again, Chris and Dan, I'll give you time that you need to read these minutes over. And whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to adopt the minutes as they have been submitted.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Are there any questions regarding the minutes? If not, we'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. We've received two documents in the form of written communications that we'll be entering into the record this morning. The first is from the Wabtec Corporation. Their Grove City engine plant is giving us notification as it pertains to the state law involving the Pennsylvania Storage Tank Spill Prevention Act. It says here, as you are probably aware, under Pennsylvania's Storage Tank Spill Prevention Act, any facility with above-ground storage tanks with a total capacity of greater than 21,000 gallons must provide an annual notice to all downstream municipalities, downstream water companies, and downstream industrial users within 20 miles of the facility. This notice includes a detailed inventory of the type and quantity of the materials in storage. The General Electric transmission facility located in Grove City, Pennsylvania, along Wolf Creek is subject to this regulation. Please find attached the downstream notification list and the material inventory list for the facility. There were no releases of regulated substances from the facility to surface water during the last calendar year. And I do recall, and Joe would remember, we get these every year.
Yes.
The downstream municipalities in Lawrence County are as follows: Slippery Rock Township, Perry Township, Wayne Township, and Scott Township. According to this document, the appropriate people in those four municipalities have been notified. So it's essentially a letter of notification. Chad, I don't know if you would have been copied on this, but.
Yes, the LAPC does receive those.
Great, thank you. The gentleman I just referred to is Mr. Chad Strobel, who is our Public Safety Director. Thank you, Chad. The second, well, before I move along, any questions on the first letter? Thank you. The second notification that we have received comes from Book and Approach Well Drilling. And this is referencing Act 14 notice requirements. I'll enter this into the record. The purpose of this notice is to inform you of our intent to submit a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System Permit, NPDES, application to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the reissuance of the existing NPDES permit number PA02228001 for the Sarah Hines House Camp wastewater treatment plant located at 2534 Hines Camp Road in Wayne Township, Lawrence County. The permit authorizes the discharge of sewage effluent into the Slippery Rock Creek. Incidentally, when we went to the lodge at Water's Edge a couple of weeks ago, we drove right past this place. It's on the other side of the Slippery Rock Creek from where we were. This notice is required by Act 14. Act 14 requires that each applicant for a DEP permit give written notice to the municipality and the county in which the permitted activity is located. And any questions would need to be referred to the DEP's Northwest Regional Office in Meadville. And this is signed by Mr. Jim Verlot, engineer for Book and Approach Well Drilling. Dan, any questions or concerns? Chris, any concerns? May I have a motion then to accept both of these letters that we've read into the record?
I'll second.
Thank you both. If there are no other questions, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Commissioner reports and comments. I get to go first. I'm going to try to be very brief and mention just briefly, because I, out of respect for my two fellow commissioners, I'll turn to them for more details. But the three of us did attend last week the spring conference of the County Commissioners Association in Dauphin County. And two things I'll note very briefly. We did have the opportunity at one of the luncheon meetings to hear from Governor Shapiro. He spoke to the entire group and provided us with a lot of information relative to his current budget proposal. Secondly, they have a number of breakout sessions or breakout seminars that we can attend. And one of the ones Mr. Sonata went to, and I'll let him fill in all the details, but happy to note that this one dealt with solar, the taxation of solar panels, I believe. And one of the presenters was our assessment director, J.R. Hardister, who is well known around the Commonwealth. And it was nice to see J.R. at this conference. So, but that's all I'll say about the conference we attended, because I'm sure Dan and Chris would like to tell more about it. The only other thing I'll note is we were asked by the Newcastle Public Library to note the following. The Newcastle Public Library intends to submit an application requesting $2 million in funding through the COVID-19 American Rescue Plan Pennsylvania Multi-Purpose Community Facilities Program. The funding will be utilized to enhance the public library's facility and directly enable work, education, and health monitoring opportunities at the library. The grant is highly competitive as it is open to various entities throughout the state. In addition, we will be approaching the commissioners to ask them for their support through a letter of recommendation. So we were asked to make note of that, and we've done so. That's all I have. Chris, you're next.
Thank you, Chairman Vogler. I think I'll just echo briefly. I think J.R. Hardister did a fine job in Harrisburg. He spoke as part of the presentation. As Chairman Vogler says, there's many breakout sessions which we did. I had the opportunity to do the solar one just to understand the taxation of how that works, and it was very worthwhile. So I think JR represented the county well. So going forward, we have a better understanding of how that works. I also attended another one on the judiciary and the whole judiciary process. And I want to just echo, in Lawrence County, we're very fortunate with our judges here. Judge Motto is so well respected, as well as Judge Cox and Hodge and Packard. But you know, how our operations work here has been very smooth in my 2.5 months of being here. And listening to some of the stories that some of the others tell, it doesn't work that way in all the other counties. So I just want to throw that out there. I going to that seminar listening. You pick up some things, and so I come back feeling pretty good the way Judge Motto is running this county, and he'll be sorely missed when he's gone. So, but the other thing I'll just bring up locally, I had the opportunity to participate in the ceremony down at Holy Spirit St. Mary's Parish on Saturday, and it truly was a remarkable event. When I had the chance to go, I'd never seen so many people in St. Mary's Church that I saw that day, and it was just a good thing to see. And when you look at it, and it's called "I Embrace You," the statue that was brought here, they come over from Italy, and it's going to be permanently here in Lawrence County at St. Mary's Church, and it's for St. Pio. He's actually, his family was from Mahoning Town, and that's where I was originally born. And I lived down Mahoning Town until I was 10 years old. So, and I think his father was and grandfather was on Montgomery Avenue down Mahoning Town. So that's special, especially for the residents of Mahoning Town as well as Newcastle. And I just think that it was such a great positive thing for Lawrence County and to be at the Mass and ceremony and to see it happen. I think it was very uplifting to the community. And it's going to be permanently here in Lawrence County. I actually talked to someone yesterday and they brought that up to me. And I serve on the tourism promotion board as well. And they said that, this is something that I think we need to let people know. That's here in Lawrence County, and when they come for other activities and things, that going to see the statue of Saint, is something that's positive for the community. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm going to mention that to Janet tomorrow when I go to the meeting in the morning. So that's really all I have this week.
Thank you, Chris. Dan?
I'll again say, we were at CCAP last week, and I think we all went to different sessions, so we all got a different idea what really goes on. You've been around a long time. No, but I'm sure you learned something different last week.
Yes, I did.
Anything we go to, I think we're learning different every time. Besides that, yesterday, we went out, and I'll call it the old YDC Center, but it's LCAP, to see what they're doing out there. And it's just amazing that we're going to take, especially, I have a neighbor that has a special needs child that's nonverbal autistic. And he travels every day down to Beaver County to go to school. And next year he'll be able to go out here to school in Lawrence County, and we'll take what would be the northern part of that schooling. Mercer, Lawrence, Butler. Is that the three that they told us?
Right.
But that piece of property out there that was just getting nothing used on it is getting changed over, and it's really nice to see it happen and what they're doing and the plans they have down the road to even do more out there. So it was an interesting hour yesterday afternoon that we spent with them, and very good people showing us what they're doing for the children of this county that really don't have a voice. So it's nice to see. So that's all.
Dan, thank you. And also Chris, by the way, Chris, we very much appreciate your representing the commissioners at the Mass on Saturday. We were all invited. I felt particularly bad. I was so anxious to go. And Dave, were you there? Were you able to go? And my daughter and her family were in from Wisconsin, and I only get to see them about 3 times a year. So obviously the grandchildren had to come first, but I've heard from a number of people what a moving Mass that it was. And thank you for, and I know you had a commitment as well.
I was flipping pancakes.
Yep.
So we appreciate Mr. Wonder.
Thank you for doing
Represent
that,
us.
Chris. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We're going to move into new business. And, Mike is here. Mike Grippo is here. Mike, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Mike is from CYS. And you got a simple one for us today, Mike.
Yeah, real simple.
I'll turn it over to you and you can fill us in, please.
Well, basically, we want to add 2 copier printers. One for the 3rd floor for the caseworkers. And then and it's going to look like the one we have on the 1st floor. And then we're going to have one for the paralegals, a smaller one, in their office, because, when they do these family findings and that, sometimes these pages are 200 pages, 300 pages to find family findings. So that's what I'm here for. We already deal with Direct Image. It's a 60-month contract. It'll run April 1st, 24 to March 31st, 29. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you, Mike. And we'll note that Direct Image does have a location here in Lawrence County, which I'm pleased to see, and I'm sure my colleagues are as well. Speaking of my colleagues, Mr. Kennedy, do you have any questions for Mr. Grippo? Thank you. Mr. Sonata?
No.
So, Mike, you're asking or requesting that we approve this proposed resolution for this contract with Direct Image Copy Systems?
Yes.
Okay. Well, in order for us to do so, I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. If there are no other questions or concerns, we'll take a roll call, please.
Yeah, this will be number 44.
Oh, thank you. I wrote that down, but I didn't say it. Thanks, Vanessa. Number 44. Thank you.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mike, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You have a great day. Let me ask my colleagues a question. Our next agenda item involves the Veterans Office. Jesse Putnam is with us. Later in the meeting, item 9 is a matter that directly or indirectly involves the Veterans Office. Would you gentlemen have any objection if, after we consider the next resolution, that we then jump down to number 9? Are you both okay with our doing that? Thank you both. Well, Jesse, if you'd like to come up. Jesse Putnam is the director of our Veterans Affairs Office, and Jesse, we appreciate your joining us. This proposed resolution, number 45, would allow the county to enter into a contract with the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources for the development of the Lawrence County Veterans Park Project, which would be the triangular piece of property that borders East Washington Street, County Line Street, and Milton Street. I hope I have that right. And that property, many years ago, former Commissioner Tom Shoemaker was instrumental in securing that property. And I know, Jesse, you've been in consultation with the planning office, specifically Amy McKinney. So if you'd be kind enough, can you give us a little more background? And then we have to move forward with this proposed resolution, which we can talk about. But can you give us a little more background, please?
Sure. So from my understanding and paperwork I have, it's always been the vision of Mr. Shoemaker to have that as a veterans park, which I think is fitting for his family history as well. So throughout the years, it's kind of been talked about. And then I spoke to Amy about a grant, and she came up with this BC Nor C2 grant. So we're just looking to recognize all of Lawrence County's veterans, not a specific war. Everybody, every man, woman who has served within our county. There'll be a park now to recognize that. We're still in the beginning stages of it, but yeah, the reason we're here today is part of the grant is for this resolution.
I appreciate that. I'll note a couple things too, that a number of years ago when the county rebuilt the Mill Street Bridge, just south of East Washington Street, we did name that the Lawrence County Veterans Memorial Bridge, as I recall. Secondly, we do have a beautiful monument at the base of the hill. But you are correct, you pointed out that that monument is in honor of those who served and who died in action. Am I correct in stating that? So before I turn it over to my colleagues for questions, just to verify what this proposed resolution is doing as it relates to what Jesse just pointed out to us, that we are approaching the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to apply for this grant. And this document spells out the details of how we go about doing this. But in order for this to move forward, it does necessitate having the approval of the Board of Commissioners. So this is proposed resolution 45, but I'll see if Mr. Kennedy has any questions or comments.
No, thank you, Justin, for you and Amy for getting this done. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. Mr. Samata.
Yeah, Jesse, just want to reiterate, I know that we've had these preliminary discussions about ideas out there, and I know this has been going on many, many years, but I'm just hoping that we're going to see this thing to conclusion. I appreciate your commitment to this. I know you have a lot on the plate, but you look out the window of the office up there, and I see that empty property. I started thinking, and I just remember, I think me and Commissioner Kennedy had a conversation, but that would be something nice out there, veterans, and we met with you, and you said, that's what the property's needed for, and that's what we want to do, and that's where I think that, we've made some inroads, and if we can be successful in these grant opportunities, I think that it's going to be such an addition to the East Side community as things in this neighborhood keep getting better, improving. It's a slow process, but we're seeing good things happen. I think what better way to drive up East Washington Street to see monuments honoring our vets, all veterans. And I think your attitude to this is so good because we don't want to pick one over the other. And that's what I think Mr. Shoemaker's goal was. He is an honorable gentleman, and we appreciate him donating that property to the people of Lawrence County and the courthouse. So Look forward to working with you on this one, Jesse, and I think it's really going to be something. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully we're successful in this grant, because the more we can secure, through the grant dollars, the better we can make this for the veterans.
I would like to add, if I may, part of this is we will ask for the public's idea or what out there. This is just what we want to put out there. This is for Lawrence County residents as well. So it's not just my idea or your idea. It's, we're going to make this a collective. This is going to be a home topic.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you both. And in some of the conversations we've had, we've not forgotten the fact that as you come into the main entrance of the courthouse, there is currently a small monument that recognizes the first two county Medal of Honor recipients. They were both Civil War soldiers. And then about 8 or 10 years ago, we had our third Medal of Honor winner. He served during the Vietnam era, the Vietnam War, and he was killed in Vietnam, Sergeant Leslie Sabo. Now, he's not on that monument, so we've had conversations ultimately of either modifying the existing monument or finding a new one that would list all three of those individuals. I'll also note that a number of years ago, we did name the Ewing Park Bridge in the borough of Elwood City in memory of Sergeant Sabo. So we did undertake that effort as well. Anything else you wish to add, Jesse? We appreciate your bringing this to our attention and appreciate the work you've put into it, as well as Amy and your staff. So if there are no other questions, could I have a motion then for proposed resolution 45?
I move to approve resolution 45.
Second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you very much. And Jesse, if you're able to stick around, appreciate you doing that. And again, my colleagues have agreed that we are going to move to item 9 on the agenda. Vanessa, this next, we then go to 46 on this next one? Okay, thank you. County commissioners have been approached by Mr. and Mrs. David Gettings, asking us to give consideration to naming the North Street Bridge, which is a county-owned bridge in the city of Newcastle, and name it in honor of their son, Corporal Albert P. Gettings, who made the ultimate sacrifice. He was killed in action in 2006 in Iraq. And Mr. Gettings has corresponded with us making this request. As I noted, we do have another bridge in the county that was named in honor of another member of the military who made the ultimate supreme sacrifice. We also have another county-owned bridge that's named, but not in honor of a military person, but there's a bridge out in Scott Township, the Frank B. Taylor Memorial Bridge. And Debbie, you probably remember Frank Taylor. That was Ross's dad, wasn't it? Do I have that right?
His mother wrote for the Vindicator.
Oh, now that I didn't know.
Helen, yeah.
Okay, did not know that. Well, Frank Taylor for many years was the county's engineer. And then his son Ross, and then he has other family members that maintained that organization. So prior to my coming here, a board of commissioners named that bridge in honor of Mr. Taylor. So so there is a precedent for doing this. In discussions we've had with Jessie Putnam from the Veterans Affairs Office, we've asked her to give some thought to moving forward to maybe some more specific criteria if we have this opportunity again, that as it relates perhaps to military personnel, that we maybe focus on either Medal of Honor winners or perhaps Silver Star winners who were also killed in action. Maybe that we're looking at that as a possible set of criteria. But given that Corporal Gettings was a Silver Star recipient. I'll see if David wishes to comment. If you do, we'd be happy to have your comments, if you're so willing.
I would like to. As Commissioner knows, I have been at a loss for words. I would like to thank the commissioners for entertaining this resolution. Our family's job is to keep our son's memory alive. Our son received the Silver Star in 2017. He was killed in 2006. Took the Marine Corps 11 years to upgrade it from a Bronze Star to a Silver Star. Obviously, the Marine Corps gives nothing away, and they felt that it was appropriate, so they did it. We're asking, as you mentioned, that it would be in accordance with what's happened in the past. We're thanking you for even considering it. Obviously, we're excited about it, and we are humbly asking that this be something that would cement his memory in Lawrence County history.
We appreciate you and Mrs. Gettings making the request. One final comment. Yes, sir.
The one thing that makes this bridge very special for us is that my wife's mother and father, who at the time lived on Harding Street, which is off Croton Avenue, they both worked downtown. My mother-in-law at the Pottery, my father-in-law as a self-employed tailor. And they both walked across that bridge many, many times. So it's a very important thing.
Appreciate your making note of that.
So thank you, whatever the result is, thank you. We appreciate it.
David, you have seen the, I don't want to call it a plaque, but the memorial sign down in Elwood City Borough on the bridge that honors Sergeant Sabo. Would you and your family want to have a similar type of marker or memorial on the North Street Bridge comparable to the one in Elwood?
I would ask that you consider that, yes.
Thank you. And I believe that you're contemplating, in conjunction with the Veterans Affairs Office, a ceremony then at some point in the future to recognize what we will be doing here shortly.
Our thought process would be, it would be approximately at Memorial Day, if that would be appropriate and that would be acceptable.
Certainly.
If it is, then that would fit into the rest of the activities that the Veterans Office would normally do on that particular area.
Understood. Thank you. Mr. Sonata, any questions or concerns that you have?
No, I think it's very straightforward. I think working with Jesse, come up with criteria in the future. I think David, your son, was a true hero. As you said, you don't give this out lightly as a Silver Star. And I think that's so appropriate. And I think the guidelines fit with what Chairman Vogler has brought up, Commissioner Kennedy. And I think that it would be appropriate. And we want to continue to work with our Veteran Affairs Office to make sure we have a standard commitment, for the future as well, because it's something we can't take lightly. Okay, and every one of our men and women who serve, we thank them for their service. But there are those who made the ultimate sacrifice in a way, that saved other lives. And when you get this type of award, that's the type of criteria we have to consider when we do these things. So that's just my thoughts.
Thank you. And Commissioner Kennedy.
Geez, Dave, I don't know what to say to you, but my heart is out. Dan and I were talking yesterday. We both have sons, and just what you've gone through for this country. So we can sit here today and do what we're doing. We can't thank your family enough for what you guys have gone through, and we thank your son and keep his memory alive. As you and I have talked in the past, there's a lot of things because of what you've done to keep your son's name out there. People don't realize what's happened in the county. But just my wife and your friendship has done stuff that you helped Debbie do to make Marty part of what it is today. That's an honor to your son also. So we thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Well, we have before us then proposed resolution 46, which would officially name the North Street Bridge in honor and memory of Corporal Albert P. Gettings, and it would be known as the Corporal Albert P. Gettings Memorial Bridge. Again, similar to what we've done in the borough of Elwood City and the Ewing Park Bridge. This is proposed resolution 46. Could I have a motion to consider it, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 46.
And I'll second that motion.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any final comments? Mr. Gettings, anything else, sir?
No, thank you for taking this under consideration. I appreciate it. I spent many years here and I love the place. I'm glad I'm gone, but I love the people.
We miss you. We do miss you.
I'm glad for that, but I don't miss you as much as we miss
We see you every once in a while.
Yes, we do.
Once in a while is a great thing.
And you certainly, you have a tremendous successor, as you well know.
I'm fully aware of that. Mr. Prestipine obviously is way ahead of me in technology, which I see that. I'm happy for that, and I'm not at all unpleased that he's doing a good job.
He certainly is. Thank you. Jesse, anything that you would care to add?
No, I think that Dave said it all, but we do appreciate you doing this today.
Thank you so much. We do have a motion on the floor that's been appropriately seconded. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. I'll note for both Jesse and Dave, you're very welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. If you have to move along, we certainly understand. Either way.
I just want to thank you from our family. We appreciate it. My son is probably upset in heaven that this is even happening, but at this particular point, our job is moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Jesse, thank you as well. Well, public safety, Chad, you've got quite a laundry list here today. We always enjoy having you with us. Chad Strobel is our extremely competent public safety director. And let's take these one at a time. The first one would be proposed resolution 47. This is a contract with the MCM Consulting Services Group to update the county's hazard mitigation plan. Chad, I'll let you give us all the details if you would, please.
Okay, this is a two-part resolution. We're required by the state and federal government to maintain a hazard mitigation plan. That plan outlines all the threats and hazards that are possibly in your county or your jurisdiction. With that, it opens up the opportunity for grants to mitigate those hazards. If it's flooding, it opens up grants for possible property buybacks to create green spaces, to limit the amount of money spent flood mitigation or flood remediation, stormwater control, things along those nature. So we're required, and all 27 municipalities in the county are required to adopt that to be eligible to receive funding should a disaster occur. And it also opens up, like I said, for grants to mitigate those. We did ours a few years ago. We entered into also a maintenance contract to streamline the process of renewing it after those 5 years. We got grants to do that, and the planning office, Amy and Alan, were able to secure another BRIC grant to continue that and offset the cost to the county. With that BRIC grant, the stipulation is it has to be spent by 2025, which is a year ahead of time for our hazard mitigation plan. So today I'm asking to, with MCM's blessing, modify the original contract, get rid of the original contract, and sign a new contract to up or make it a little 1 year early on renewing our hazard mitigation plan. And that will be fully funded through the federal government with that BRIC grant.
Let me just ask a technical question. The contract's in place. Are we modifying an existing contract? Is that how you're
No,
describing
we
this?
are, getting rid of the existing contract.
Okay. That'll be null and void.
Correct, and then we'll enter into a new contract for the next 2 years.
I appreciate you clarifying that. I'm assuming this is considered, and Joe, you might be able to help as well. This is considered, I'm assuming, a professional service that did not necessitate us to get sealed bids. Am I correct, to your knowledge?
Correct, yeah, this is professional
Okay.
services, and
Okay,
they're on the state's system already for.
gotcha. That was the answer I was hoping you'd give, so thank you. Commissioner Kennedy, do you have questions on the first proposal that Mr. Strobel has for us?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Sanada? You've got a track record with this organization. My understanding is they enjoy a good reputation. They're based, I think, in State College,
Yes, they're on that.
and you've worked well with them through the years. Is that right?
Yes, I've worked with them for this, the hazard mitigation plan. I also serve as the Western Area Director for the Hazmat Tech Association. And they are instrumental in planning our hazardous materials conference every year in our neighboring counties we work with in the region and utilize them for various plans, hazard mitigation, quantity flow study, events. So we work well with them over the years.
Great, thank you. Gentlemen, I could take a motion then for proposed resolution 47.
I move we approve resolution 47.
Second.
Thank you both. Any other questions? If not, we'll have Vanessa do a roll call.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Proposed resolution 48. This would be a contract with the Schneider Gemco Renmark organization. And looks as though they're based in Wexford, but can you give us a little bit of background as to why we're pursuing the contract with these folks?
Yeah, this will be our annual maintenance contract for our EPS, uninterruptible power supply that keeps our building running during a power outage. With the nature of our business, taking the computers down could take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to reboot if they're powered down. So this keeps everything running until the generator can kick in. And if there's a error or issue with the generator, it'll keep us on power so we can process the 911 calls and handle emergency responses throughout the county. This is for inspections. They do yearly inspections, make sure everything's up to date. They do firmware or computer upgrades on it. They monitor the system to make sure it's running optimally. So this will be just to continue that for the next year. And actually, I received a notice the other day that there was a recall on all the batteries they installed. So I'm in the process of getting that recall fulfilled, and which will save us about $30,000. We're going to get all new batteries just a year ahead of time. So I'll extend this out another 5 years.
That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah, like that. But this will keep us up and running for the next year, and 24-hour monitor, 24-hour service, repairs, and everything.
Appreciate your giving us that information. Commissioner Sanada, any questions for Chad?
Very thorough.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy?
Just, these are the little things we don't even think about. That, if it went down though,
Yeah.
you did wonder what you're gonna do, get going again.
Yeah,
And I can't afford that.
like the paper,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and on radios.
Yeah. So thank you, Chad.
Thank you, gentlemen. Could I have a motion for proposed resolution 48?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you both. If there are no other questions, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, number 49, involves the Hazardous Material Response Fund, which is administered by the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. And we're looking, if I'm reading this correctly, you're wanting authorization to apply for a grant? Do I have that right, Chad?
This is to receive the funds.
Receive the funds. I'll let you fill in the details, please.
Correct. Act 165 outlines the Hazardous Materials Response Fund. Every chemical facility in the state pays a certain amount of money per chemical to the state. That money is divided up throughout the counties to provide training, capabilities for hazardous materials response, equipment maintenance, planning. So this money is collected from the chemical facilities because they carry chemicals, and it's distributed back to the counties to better assist them with responding to these. They'll be supporting the hazmat team, supporting the equipment, the training. So we utilize this. This is just enter into the agreement with the state that we're going to spend it for the correct reasons, and we've already applied them and given what we're going to purchase. But this money will be put into maintaining our vehicles and trailers that we use for hazardous materials response. We'll also use it to put on hazardous materials center training and to do planning and exercises related to hazardous materials.
Thank you for that information. I'll see if Mr. Kennedy has any questions. No? Mr. Sanada? Oh, okay, thank you. With that, may I have a motion then for proposed resolution 49?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you both. If there are no other questions, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And then finally, Chad, you have proposed resolution 50, which involves Act 147 Radiation Emergency Response Fund. Could you please fill us in on the specifics?
Yes, this is grants we received again from FEMA due to our proximity to the nuclear power plant in Beaver County. Because of where we're at, we are set to receive evacuees from Beaver County if there should be an incident at the nuclear power plant. To assist us with that, the training, the equipment that we're required to have, which would be portal monitors, handheld monitors for looking for radiation, certain equipment to set up the shelter, training to have the people be able to set up the shelter and decon center. We get $7,392 per year to maintain that program. This is just to enter into agreement that, again, we're going to use it for the proper purposes. And we've also outlined in this one in our application what we'll be spending it on, which is training, equipment, and exercises related to the power plant, which is this year.
Those upcoming exercises, will the three of us, I think we're usually invited to attend, or am I mistaken?
No, you are invited.
We will be invited, okay.
We have a meeting in the next 2 weeks to finalize the timeframe. And once that goes out, we'll be reaching out to everybody to save the date. So great.
Thank you.
Here, be short with it.
Thank you much. Chris, any questions for Chad? No. Dan, anything else for Chad? This is proposed resolution 50. May I have a motion, please?
I move we approve resolution 50.
Second. Thank you both. If there are no other concerns, I'll request a roll call.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Chad, I want to thank you, as always. I got to say this, I sleep well at night knowing that you're the public safety director. And I feel bad that Jesse left because, and I'm glad the warden's here, because I will tell you that, and the deputy warden, Mr. Simmons, we're so fortunate. I think both my colleagues are coming to this conclusion pretty quickly, that we are blessed with excellent leadership in our various departments, and you're certainly included in that. So thank you, and thank you, sir. Anything else for us, Chad?
No.
Okay, we appreciate your time. I know you probably have to run back up.
Communication meeting.
I hope we do.
Yeah.
We're not making you late?
It's at noon. So.
Well, be careful.
Thanks,
you,
guys.
Chad.
Thanks for
Take care. Next on the agenda, we have a request. It's an annual request that comes to us from the Carpenters Group for the Carpenters Project. We received a letter from the chairman and director of this organization based in Elwood City. Connie McDonald is the chair and Mr. Stephen Miller is the director. Carpenters Project would like to thank you for your generous donations. The Carpenters Project is a non-denominational, intergenerational program in the Elwood City area that assists homeowners with repairs that they are unable to complete themselves. Repairs are done at no charge to the homeowners. Through your contributions, we have been able to assist many people in our community. We would like to request $15,000 from the county's 2024 Affordable Housing Fund. Traditionally, we've done this, and if you were here a few months ago, or maybe 6 weeks ago or so, we received an annual request from the Mission Barn organization that builds ramps for people to have easier access to their homes. And they're based out in Shenango Township. But this Carpenters Project undertakes their efforts during the summer months. And as they noted here, this money is not coming from the county's general fund. There's a fund that's set up. State law allows us to do this. We've established an affordable housing fund in the Register and Recorder's office, so that when transfers and deeds are recorded, there's a small amount of money taken out that goes into this fund. And we've been able to provide funding each year to the Carpenters Project, and I hope you gentlemen are willing to do so again. But let me open it up and see. Dan, do you have any questions or thoughts?
No. Okay. I think we went over it.
Okay, thank you, sir. Chris?
I agree, we already discussed it, it seems like a very worthy project.
Thank you. Well then, if that's the case, would one of you be willing to make a motion for Resolution 51?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Thank you, gentlemen. If there are no other questions, we'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The next item involves the approval of a contract with the Teamsters Union. Gentlemen, sorry you've had to sit here for so long. As you see, we have a lot of business to conduct and appreciate your patience. Mr. Alters from the Teamsters Union spoke to us earlier, and Dave, we appreciate your joining us. And Warden Mallmeister and Deputy Warden Simmons are with us as well. We did have a period of negotiations with the Teamsters Union, and an agreement has been reached as a result of that process. This is Teamsters Local 261, specific to the corrections officers in the county prison. And what we would be doing today is approving the contract. My understanding is that the members of the union did vote, and that by a majority vote, the contract was ratified. And this would be a 5-year collective bargaining agreement that would commence retroactively on January 1 of 2024, and then would conclude at the end of December 31 of 2028. Our solicitor has advised us that primarily the two primary changes to the contract were formalizing any prior memorandums of understanding that may have taken place in the past. We made that a formal part of this contract. And then we implemented adjustments in the rates of pay. That's my understanding. Those were the two primary objectives of what ultimately came of this. But let me stop right there. Warden, do you wish to come up and offer anything else that maybe we've overlooked?
Commissioner, I think you pretty much hit on the major changes to this current contract. Like you said, all the MOUs were placed into there concerning the sergeants. Also with overtime. With what we call overtime, what we mandate, those mandations can be stressful on staff. So this pretty much makes it fair and equal to all the members.
Mr. Simmons, anything from you?
I can go over some of the changes we made. So the mandation changes, we've done it so we can encourage more voluntary overtime. Everybody would like to work more voluntary overtime, but they get mandated, so they try to diffuse it, which the changes we're making are going to really encourage voluntary. We added a paid holiday, Juneteenth, to their holiday schedule. They got 5 more sick days per year, which matches the county. They're up to 15, which matches everyone else. Probationary period for all new full-time employees is going to be 90 days. In the past, we had it set at 90 or 180 based on prior experience. That was one of the things they had asked for. They're gonna be adding 5% on their dental and vision primaries that they have to pay, which is a very low amount for them, but will definitely help out paying part of it.
And forgive me for interrupting you, that is 5% of the cost of the dental and vision, is that what you said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not 5% of their salary or their wages, it's
No.
only 5% of the cost of the coverage, am I right? Thank you.
We added sergeants written into the contract also, which the word mentioned. We are bumping that up to 6 sergeants who are gonna help with some more responsible activities that are needed in the jail, and also be another set of eyes for us. Be, another layer of the command staff to get us information and report properly, which is going to be a big help. In the past, it's always been the captains, assistant wardens, majors, and the warden who took care of everything. And we noticed we're not always getting the information that we need. So adding the sergeants will help us get the information that we're looking for. And again, it was already mentioned that that'll all be made retroactive to the first of the year.
Thank you, and please.
I would like to mention that Mr. Vanasco and Attorney McDour did a tremendous amount of work on this contract, along with Deputy Warden Simmons. There's a lot of thought process that went into it, there was a lot of meetings, and I just wanted to thank them for all their dedication and hard work.
That is so noted, we thank you, and of course, it takes two to tango, as they say, so the folks from the union as well, we appreciate. Mr. Alters, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but is there any comment you wish to make? Don't feel obligated, but.
No, I wasn't involved in it, so I don't, I'm not gonna speak to any of it, so.
Thank you, sir. I do want to just clarify the fact that the county code stipulates that the oversight of the jail responsibility rests with a 7-member prison board. And the law states that board is the 3 commissioners, the president judge, the county controller, the sheriff, and the district attorney. However, when it comes to the approval of contracts, and in this case, labor contracts, that authority rests with the 3 commissioners. So given the fact that the rank and file membership have approved contract by way of a vote, it now comes before us in our capacity as commissioners to approve this contract. And I'm assuming that it is the recommendation of the management staff that we move forward affirmatively to approve. And if that's the case, let me see if Mr. Sonata has any questions.
I think everything was very thorough. Appreciate your information.
Thank you, Chris. Mr. Kennedy.
The only thing I'll make a comment is, after being over there, I respect each and every one of them, our guards and sergeants and you two, for what you do for us every day. We don't have you guys coming over here every day saying, hey, we need help, which is nice. You're running that place, and we got to see, Chris and I, by going over there, how well that place is run. And we thank you for what you do over there, you and your police.
It's really a team effort over there. I mean, all of our staff pull together, we all work together and get the job done each and every day.
And they do a great job. I appreciate it. Pass that along. Yes. A lot of stuff.
Thank you, Dan. Joe, since you played an active role in the negotiating process, anything you wish to add?
Just that I'm glad it's done. And look forward to moving forward, and hopefully there's some stipulations in there to help us retain staff a little bit. I think that's the first and foremost on Jason and I, when we started working with you guys, obviously, how do we do a better job of keeping the staff, and that was very important to us, and we're glad it got done. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Joe. Debbie, we're discussing and we're about to take action on approving the collective bargaining agreement between the county and Teamsters Local 261, specifically the corrections officers at the jail. It is a 5-year contract that begins retroactively on January 21 of this year, terminates on December 31 of 2028. I will note that both the warden and the deputy warden went over some of the specifics while you had to step out. But also, if you need a copy of the actual contract, Mr. Madore, do you have one, Vanessa? I think Jason has one. We can get, if you need, you can stop upstairs, we'll get you one.
Also, how many employees does this affect?
How many union members do you know, gentlemen?
Approximately 40.
Approximately 40.
Are they all corrections officers?
Oh, corrections officers and cooks? Three cooks?
3 cooks.
And the rest are COs?
Yes, sir.
That answer your question, Debbie?
Thank you.
Okay, and again, we can get you a copy of that contract. If there are no other questions, and thanks again, Joe. May I then have a motion for proposed resolution 52?
I'll make a motion, we approve, resolution 52.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan. I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Mr. Alters, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome to stay. We have a few more items of business, but if you have to move along, we understand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Wish you the same. We're down to 4 administrative transfer requests. If you don't mind, I'm going to walk through them. Stop me at each one if you have any questions. The first request comes from Domestic Relations. They are asking for a $1,500 transfer from their contingency line item into Office Minor to finish the security camera installation in the Domestic Relations office. The next request comes from the jail. They are asking for a total of $29,787 from their contingency fund. $14,052 is going into lease rental, and $15,735 is going into major equipment. The purpose of this is for the rental of the monthly generator and storage tanks. Do you gentlemen need any explanation from the warden? Okay. I know we've had conversations about this at prison board, if you recall. Dan, did you have a question?
Is this the rental unit? Did we get ours fixed yet? Put it that way.
Ours should be fixed within today or tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you won't have a rental then anymore. I know it's been a long haul.
And I know, commissioners, when you were over there the other day, you actually saw those hot water storage tanks.
Yeah.
And the maintenance department over there, again, does a fine job. And they are close to starting that having the water softener. Well, it's hooked up, but we just need to get it running. So that should help with our the water and the hard levels that we have.
Talking to the 2 maintenance guys, what they have figured out, some of the causes over there of piping issues. That's part of my problem. Them 2 gentlemen do a tremendous job of it. You couldn't ask for it.
I really couldn't.
2 great guys that do what they do.
I mean, I've been in this business for 36 years and I've never seen 2 of them like that.
Yeah, they're a team. As you said, you got a team over there. You really do. So.
Thanks, Dan. Chris, anything? No. Okay, the next transfer request is from Judge Amodi's office. They are asking for a $1,200 transfer out of their postage line item into materials and supplies. They need money for white. Is that white or right? That's white. CFB paper. Is that copy paper?
I would assume, I wonder if it's one that they can put their stamp on.
Ah, okay.
More formal.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions on this request from Judge Amodi? Thank you. Those are the 4 transfer requests. Could I please have a motion then to approve them?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, gentlemen. Any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Sinata?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Couple of announcements. The Board of Commissioners will meet 1 week from today, Tuesday, March 19 at 10 a.m. in this room. It's open to the public. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March 13, the County Planning Commission holds its monthly meeting. at 12 noon at the Taylor Township Municipal Building at 218 Industrial Street, West Pittsburgh. That is open to the public. The Prison Board will hold its monthly meeting on Wednesday, March 20 at 12 noon in this room, open to the public. And the final note is that also on Wednesday, March 20 at 4 p.m., the 175th anniversary of Lawrence County celebration will kick off in Boardroom 1 upstairs. That ceremony is open to the public, and one of our special guests is the Lieutenant Governor of the state, Austin Davis, and the other special guest is it Michael Kraus? Did I get that right, Debbie? The curator at Soldiers and Sailors Museum in Pittsburgh, Newcastle native, friend of Debbie Walker.
Artist,
Yeah.
sculptor, and historian, and Civil War buff.
Right, and we thank you because I think you were instrumental in bringing him up here. Thank you for that. So that ceremony is open to the public.
Actually, there's a reception afterward. It's $40 per person, and from what I understand, it's sold out.
That's my understanding as well. I hope you guys got your tickets. Okay, great. Thank you, Debbie. I'll take public comment next. For the folks that are remaining in the audience, any comments at this time? Debbie, I have my packet to give you. Hearing none, I'll see if my fellow commissioners have any closing comments. I'll start with Mr. Kennedy.
No, just in the last couple of weeks though, it seems like I've been in these meetings that last the longest that we ever had, and you want to continue that, so thank you.
And I've said it many times, and I don't know how he did it, but Commissioner Boyd could sit through a meeting. Debbie, you remember that. He was, he really moved them along. So I apologize. We try to be thorough, but yeah, I know.
Well, when I went to SBC, I got accused by our friends down in Beaver County of making it so long, but
That wasn't
me.
No.
No, but Tony had to give me a hard time, that's all. So, no, we're getting things done, that's the good thing.
Well, we didn't meet last week. That's probably another reason.
So that takes a little bit more time.
Thank you, Dan. Commissioner Sanada, any closing comments?
I'll just echo Commissioner Kennedy and Commissioner Tony from down in Beaver did say it's 18 years. It was the longest meeting he'd ever been to, and he was sitting next to Commissioner Kennedy, and he did blame Dan for it. I will say that, but it wasn't 2.5 hours long, Dan. So, but we did discuss some positive things, I think, dealing with economic development for Western Pennsylvania. So it was a good meeting, and look forward to the next ones.
In these few short months, I've got to know Tony. My son-in-law and his son teach together, so they get on each other about having county commissioners in their families.
And Tony, I'll say with Tony, he's like you, Chairman Bowden, he has that institutional knowledge down in Beaver County. He's been there a long time.
We're talking about Commissioner Tony Amadeo from Beaver County, who has been in office since 2008 and is a tremendous commissioner. First of all, he's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. He's a very nice man, but he is a good commissioner. And I have a lot of respect for him. I will note, I go to the Northwest Commission meetings, and they meet, I believe, every other month. And we generally run a good hour and a half to 2 hours at those. So give you an idea of what you have to look forward to when you take my place.
Thank you, Chair. So you gentlemen have made your closing comments. Thank you.
Vanessa or Joe, anything before we're looking? We appreciate you all joining us. We appreciate your patience because we normally don't run this long. But, we thank you all for being here. May I please have an adjournment motion?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. And Joe, can you turn off the